Whatever it is that you're thinking about, whether that's a conversation starter or trying something different or putting out a product or writing a blog post, and maybe it's not what everyone else does, maybe it's not what you think you should do, but it's really you and you really like it, I would say go for it.
I'm a huge believer in stepping into your voice power because I've just seen over 30 years now what it can do for you. It's a power piece. It's a confidence piece. All of those people who are afraid of public speaking, afraid of using their voice, have thought about it for years and years and years and years. Run to the roar and finally be free and step into that power. It's there. It's waiting. And it's life-changing.
For anyone who has any sort of website idea or entrepreneurial idea is to go for it and search around and see if the domain names exist. And if they do, buy them.
The thing about the voice is it is truly the most powerful piece we have. It's the mouthpiece. No pun intended. You know, we get bogged down in the words, but it is the voice and what you do with it that has the power to change lives, yours and others.
Life is really too short. Life is so short. So there are people that are very comfortable being worker bees, and it's okay about being worker bees. But for the entrepreneurial spirit that prefers to be the queen bee, so to speak, stop wasting your time making a living helping others build their own dreams. Step out of your comfort zone and start making a life in yourself. And the best way you can do it is to really figure out and leverage your life's purpose, because guess what? It's a brand new economy.
Just keep thinking and marinating and listening to podcasts like this in the background while you're going about your day, while you're washing dishes or going for your walk with the dog. Because I think listening to different entrepreneurs and different people share their story is kind of like chewing gum for the brain and gets it kind of juicy and motivated, and the inspiration will come. And when it does, just go for it.
It is important for you as a person to constantly be changing. You got to be constantly learning, constantly being like a sponge to craft your message, to craft your brand, you know, a positive message forward to the world, and to really make the best of what you have to offer so that you can elevate others.
If you're an entrepreneur, speaker, author, coach, the biggest piece of advice I think I could give you is just to stay real to who you are, be genuine, be authentic, and don't change who you are unless you're cursing people out on Twitter. You might want to change that. But other than that, just be genuine. Don't have shiny monkey syndrome. Don't try to do what everybody else is doing. Take some time to be still, to be quiet, and to really get intentional about what it is you want for your business and your life. And then as the ideas come to you, stick to those and ride them out. Don't do a million things a few times. Do those few things a million times, and you will eventually find success.
Don't be afraid to tell your story. It's your story, but it's also the story of your customers. It's the story of your industry. It's the story of your trends. So just step into that and be okay. And not every story you tell is going to land, but get out there and really kind of test and see what connects with your audience. You might be surprised at what they really grab onto.
And so I wanted to remind men that you still have control over how this whole thing pans out. You know, no matter what happened, no matter what financial failures you've been through, no matter what mistakes you've made, you are still in control of this business, which is your life, yourself. You're still in control, and you still have the power to make the right decisions. You still have the power to control who gets to come in and out of your life, if you let a gold digger in or not. You have the power to just say, this is my life, and I can turn things around.
So, I think one of the things is we tend to have two personalities when we come down to the big decision, quitting the job, going after your dreams. Right. And you tend to do what I do is like, you just pull the ripcord, jump out of the plane and try to make it work. Or you're so planned, everything is so agonized that you're never going to do it. And I think it's really important to find a happy medium of taking some risk, but not taking on so much risk that you're going to be operating from a place of scarcity and fear all the times.
I enjoy Starved Out because it just gives us the opportunity to dream. and just listening to all these different stories and people coming on and saying, you know what, I did it. I had this great dream in my life. I never thought it would happen, and then it did. And I'm thankful that Jared is gracious to share his platform and not only interview famous people, but just everyday people like me and Mark.
You know, I'd rather have real numbers, a small audience, than just to look good on social media, use that strategy.
When you're thinking about your brand, your name, your logo, come up with what do you stand for? Like, what are you that people would know no matter how many times you change your name?
Be creative and think outside the box in different ways that you could be generous. And it really is truly in giving you receive, because in the last year, I cannot tell you how much more happier my life has been in this 1 year than the 32 years prior to that when I was very selfish. And now that I'm much more selfless and we've been doing a lot more to give back to others, it's just a gift in itself.
So I don't care what my numbers are. I care the impact that it has. I know I give great information and I know I build a really great community, but it's only because I want to have that impact on all of these women. And that is so important to me.
You have something coming down the pipe, do your research, do your due diligence, and then just go for it. You can't know until you try, right? And I've tried some different, themes or, within $5 dinners in the past that didn't work, flops, moving on, right? So I would say just do it. If you think you've got the passion and you've got the drive, make it happen.
You should really have a lot of hope, because I really believe that there is an answer for every symptom that a person has, including fatigue. It's not always easy to try and figure fatigue out. It can be a real puzzle. Sometimes like trying to find the needle in the haystack, but the answer is out there and it's just waiting to be found. And sometimes it really is about finding the right doctor too.
Don't be afraid to let people in. Which I'm really not. I'm pretty open on the website, but I go through phases where I'm just like, just talk about the meal, blog about the meal, and that's it. And then I go through phases where I'm like, okay, here's what's happening in our life. And it's all of this. And I kind of go up and down. But I think that, with any business, any product, people want to connect with you. I go through phases, like I said, where I'm like, nope, they're just here for the $5 dinners. And then I go through phase, nope, they're here to connect with me because I'm a mom in the trenches too, trying to do all of these things that everybody's trying to do. Let me help you and encourage you and teach you along the way.
Find a like-minded colleague that you appreciate and value and trust. And you go to them and you say, let's make a deal. I will make a point of talking you up at this event if you do the same thing for me. And that takes a lot of the pressure off people, especially for those who are a little nervous about self-promotion, because you don't have to worry about self-promotion. You worry about promoting your friend, and they're going to do that for you. And it helps both of you stand out more.
So the new Wifestyle is essentially a mindset and a lifestyle. It's about being a strong and empowered woman first, who then believes that marriage is all about a partnership. So essentially, you're going after your own goals, your own dreams, really being solid in who you are as an individual, while still being this rock solid partner and supportive of your spouse.
Whatever it is that you're thinking about, whether that's a conversation starter or trying something different or putting out a product or writing a blog post, and maybe it's not what everyone else does, maybe it's not what you think you should do, but it's really you and you really like it, I would say go for it. Research has found that 60 to 93% of our communication is nonverbal. And by the way, 60 is the lowest study we could find. There are a number of studies on nonverbal communication, and most of them are up in the high 70s and 80s. 60 was like the bare minimum of communication. So when I say nonverbal, I mean body language, I mean voice tone, I mean the way that you use your words, which is called statement analysis, and I mean facial expressions. The problem is when we go on interviews or dates or pitches or business meetings, we typically think about what we want to say. We script out our answers. We think about the questions we want to ask, all the what we want to say. We very rarely think about how we want to say something. And that is the nonverbal piece. It's how we deliver our verbal message. And it can make or break us. If your nonverbal doesn't match your verbal, that is where inauthenticity comes from. That's when people think this person's a jerk, this person's inauthentic, I don't want to get to know them.
Podcast Movement 2015 is coming to Texas this summer, and we want you to be there. Join over 1,000 current and aspiring podcasters at the world's largest podcaster conference, featuring Sarah Koenig of Serial, Roman Mars of 99% Invisible, Pat Flynn, Aisha Tyler, Lou Mangello, John Lee Dumas, and over 50 other speakers. All that's missing is you. Learn more and register now at podcastmovement.com.